Good evening, and I hope you are ready for a fantastic week here on Display Trivia. Of course, all weeks at Display Trivia are fantastic. You spend time with me, one of the funniest people in the known universe, and I give you free money if you can correctly answer 10 questions. It's really a perfect arrangement. But I've got a feeling this one's going to be particularly special. Why, you might ask? Well, because we are broadcasting all week live from the City of Angels, Los Angeles, California. Yep. And all week we are leading up to a very special Super Bowl themed trivia show on Friday. But we're going to sprinkle in some football trivia all week just to keep you on your toes. Also continuing, Black History Month. We'll have questions about Black history all through February, and since we're in Hollywood this week, be on the lookout for some star-studded questions as well. We really are doing the most this week, but I want these games to be the least of your worries. Let me help put you at ease by laying out some basic guidelines. Get us all on an equal playing field, right? You'll have 10 seconds to answer 10 questions each. When a new question appears, choose carefully, because once you tap, there's no going back. However, if you do get one wrong, stay in the game and keep playing along for fun. Speaking of staying in the game, in question 9 last night, we asked you to tell us which logo did not contain a crown. And would you believe there is a crown on the snake in the Alfa Romeo logo? Now, where the snake, or dragon, depending on who you ask, got the crown is still yet to be determined. So if anyone's missing a crown, please let us know. I think a very fancy dragon has been seen in it. Essentially, that question did not have a correct answer, so if you stayed in the game and you got that one wrong last night but got everything else right, congrats! You're a winner. Your winnings will appear in your display bank account if you're active in the app and have a completed profile. I think we're just about ready. But first, let's test the waters just to make sure you are paying attention. Let's do a Would You Rather. This is for no points. This is just to get your fingers nice and loose. So, would you rather Olympic medals, Medal of Honor, heavy metal? I'm personally getting in the Olympic spirit. I'm going to tap Olympic medals. I hope you all medal in trivia. I feel like we should make trivia an Olympic sport. That really takes a lot of brain power, a lot of finger power to get through a game of trivia. I also want to know, when this poll comes back down, how many of you are trivia winners from last night? Brag about that. Were you gold, bronze, silver? What place did you get in trivia last night? Yes, LA, baby. Hey, Tim Dozer, so glad you're joining us. All right, it looks like we're ready to rumble. It's time for Display Trivia. Question 1. Which of the following is not gear worn by an American football player? A helmet, shoulder pads, a witch's hat. Which of the following is not gear worn by an American football player? A helmet, shoulder pads, a witch's hat. In case there's any confusion, please allow me to specify. They are wearing these items while they're playing the game. I mean, really, a football player could, in theory, wear any of these items whenever they want, but only 2 of these items are going to help them with their gameplay. One of these items, probably really a sweet addition to any Halloween costume or cool Stevie Nicks inspired photo shoot with you and all your besties, but I don't think it's a good idea in the field. I mean, unless it's Wacky Wednesday, then have at it. This week, the biggest game of the year in football will be played, as it always is, on a Sunday, so we probably won't see many witch hats on the field, but hopefully plenty of helmets and shoulder pads when these athletes go head-to-head. 90% of you going head-to-head in trivia, woo! Well done. Question 2. In a Dolly Parton song, she begs this person not to take my man. Roxanne, Jolene, Rhiannon. In a Dolly Parton song, she begs this person not to take my man. Roxanne, Jolene, Rhiannon. You know, I see what Miss Parton is trying to do here, and of course, I love this song. It's one of the greatest of all time. But Dolly, you don't want your man to run off with this woman, but then you go and write a song that makes it impossible for us to get her name out of our heads, including his. It's like saying, don't think of purple elephants. I mean, what am I thinking of now? I mean, I couldn't tell you, because this violet-colored herd is literally stampeding through my brain. And this is probably just a huge power trip for Jolene, who was definitely one of those women who loves saying, get my name out of your mouth. Yes, she's definitely a villain on The Bachelor. There are great songs about these other ladies, but none by Dolly Parton. 91% of you got it. Question 3. Shiner is slang for what type of injury? A black eye, a torn ligament, a concussion. Shiner is slang for what type of injury? A black eye, a torn ligament, a concussion. The name here is a little misleading. Shiner sounds like something we all want our boyfriends to buy us this Valentine's Day. He went to Jared, except for me. I told my boyfriend, no more hanging out with Jared. He's not a good influence. Sure, he's got a galleria of jewelry, but whenever they go out together, something sus always happens. No more bar fights with Jared, sweetie, okay? But I guess that's Jared. Again, great diamonds, not such an upstanding citizen. A shiner isn't necessarily the accessory you want this season because a shiner is a black eye, and it'll cost you. If you want to have a run-in with a motorcycle gang, I know a guy. 92% if you got that. Question 4. Which of the following is the English plural first-person pronoun? I, they, we. Which of the following is the English plural first-person pronoun? I, they, we. Forget first-person pronouns. The first person you should always be taking care of is yourself. If the Fab Five of Netflix is Queer Eye have said it once, they've said it 1,000 times. You cannot take care of someone else unless you are taking care of yourself. Put on your own oxygen mask first. Don't even help the other person. They got this. They're knocked unconscious by the turbulence. I mean, they really should have thought of that before they got off the plane. Also, while they're not looking, grab that extra bag of blue potato chips, compliments of JetBlue. Didn't know potatoes could be blue, just like the color that Jimmy is turning without his oxygen mask. Of course, I'm kidding. Jimmy isn't turning blue, he's turning purple. And the plural first-person pronoun in English, meaning the one we use to identify with a group, is we. As in, we are gonna have so much fun going through Jimmy's luggage when we crash land on a deserted island. 84% of you got that. We got it. Question 5. Select the equipment used in the sport that begins new rounds with the phrase on guard. A carabiner, a foil, a crossbar. Select the equipment used in the sport that begins new rounds with the phrase on guard, a carabiner, a foil, a crossbar. I don't know why more sports don't start off new rounds with catchy phrases. Like, maybe I would be more interested in sports if they did. I guess baseball has play ball, but I think most sports just use a deafening whistle or a foghorn. Not a lot of imagination there. I consider dance a sport, which has a 5, 6, 7, 8. And I guess a lot of informal races start with ready, set, go. But come on, I mean, I think as a general rule of thumb, like, we need more punchy banter in sports. Maybe this Super Bowl, the halftime show, is just Christopher Walken saying, needs more cowbell. Also, another general rule of thumb, always more cowbell. Always. The athletic competition that commences with on guard is fencing. And the only equipment here seen in that event is a foil. A carabiner is used in rock climbing, and a crossbar is what athletes aim to jump over in pole vaulting. 88% of you jumped over that question, and we're halfway there. Question 6. What is the name of the institution on Dan Harmon's NBC sitcom? Greendale Community College, Glendale Community College, Greenville Community College. What is the name of the institution on Dan Harmon's NBC sitcom? Greendale Community College, Glendale Community College, Greenville Community College. I love a good sitcom. It's a nice, perfectly wrapped little half hour to take your mind off things, to immerse yourself in a different world, and best of all, just to laugh. I do take one issue with the genre though. And no, it's not the laugh tracks. What I don't like is being told how I'm supposed to watch something. A sitcom? Really? You're telling me I have to be seated to watch? What if I want to stand while watching reruns of Cheers? What if I've been working at a desk all day and these hands need a stretch? Or what if I'm really tired and I want to watch Modern Family lying down? I mean, I do my best binge watching while kneeling, I'm just saying. So it turns out that sitcom is short for situational comedy, and the one by Dan Harmon on NBC Community takes place at Greendale Community College and is inspired by his stint at Glendale Community College. 85% of you got it. Trivia college? I guess. Question 7. Match the civil rights leader to the following quote. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Booker T. Washington, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass. Match the civil rights leader to the following quote. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. Booker T. Washington, Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass. I have always said this. If there is no struggle, there is no progress. It works for a ton of different scenarios. Usually, I use it when I'm shaving my legs. Come on, Sarah. Put your leg all the way behind your head. No pain, no gain, sister. Or it works for cutting an onion. I mean, come on, there is no right way to cut those things. And no matter how you slice or dice it, pun very much intended, it's just one of nature's cruel jokes. Of course, this person was referring to the struggle for equality. And this person knew firsthand what he was talking about because Frederick Douglass was born into slavery in the US, escaped, then became a leader in the national abolitionist movement. 87% of you got it. Question 8. Select the neurotransmitter not produced by the hypothalamus. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. Select the neurotransmitter not produced by the hypothalamus. Serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin. Neurotransmitters are super important because they're basically the little chemicals that send messages to various parts of your brain. Think of these neurotransmitters as your Amazon Prime delivery person. They're working around the clock to make sure your hanging shoe rack is getting to your front door in 2 days or less. No, I don't need it wrapped. It's not a gift. I mean, unless if by gift you mean the items I rely on to be delivered daily so that I do not wither and crumble under the weight of adulthood. Doesn't even matter what they are. I just need to open a box so my brain can get that rush of dopamine. Yeah, see what I did there? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter produced by the region of the brain that regulates a whole host of activities, the same place where oxytocin is produced. Serotonin is the only neurotransmitter on the list produced in the raffinuclei in the brain, as well as the GI tract. Oof! 58% of you got that. 58% of you got that. And we're moving on to question 9. Which of the following dishes utilizes a bivalve in the recipe? Shrimp linguine, California rolls, clam chowder. Which of the following dishes utilizes a bivalve in the recipe? Shrimp linguine, California rolls, clam chowder. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I know off the top of my head what a bivalve is. If I had to guess, I would say maybe it's one of those fancy water spigots in like very expensive kitchens or bathrooms. You know, the ones where there are actually 2 faucets coming out of the wall, one for hot water and one for cold water. I mean, I like those because they help me feel like a little sorcerer trying to get just the right mixture of hot and cold. You know, somewhere between my scalding my skin clean off and an ice plunge. Anywhere in between that range if possible, right? But as it turns out, a bivalve is a type of mollusk whose anatomy is 2 shells connected on a hinge. And a classic example of this is a clam, the best of all shellfish to put into a chowder. Speaking of chowder, let's get that cheddar, because it's time for the final question. It's question 10. Which of the following logarithms is incorrectly matched to its primary usage in mathematics? Common logarithm engineering, natural logarithm physics, binary logarithm genetics. Which of the following logarithms is incorrectly matched to its primary usage in mathematics? Common logarithm engineering, natural logarithm physics, binary logarithm genetics. Whew. Logarithms, or logs, in math can sometimes be a really difficult concept to understand. Fortunately, I understand them perfectly, and I'm more than happy to explain. So a log, as we sometimes shorten them, is just a big old dead tree that fell over, usually in the forest, sometimes really conveniently over a little stream or creek. But it's a really good place for toads to sit or for you to practice your balance in an upcoming dance routine with Patrick Swayze. Or, if you want to get technical, it's also known as the inverse function to an exponentiation. Yeah, I've explained this very well. If you don't understand it by now, you probably never will, and that's fine. But there are 3 primary types of logarithms: the common logarithm, that is based on 10, the natural, based on 2.17, and lastly, the binary log, based on 2. And the only one here incorrectly paired with its most common usage is the binary log, which, as the name might indicate, is used primarily in computer and information sciences. Woo-hoo! We made it. Whew, passed a real doozy there. 68% of you got that last one. Yeah, look at you. Who's still hanging on? Who made it all the way? Friends, you came, you slayed, you displayed your knowledge, and you are getting paid. 251 of you are getting paid. Oh my gosh, 10 for Ashnor Kaur. I am so proud of you. And everybody else who just made it here for the first game of the week in LA. Lee Art 6, that's all right. Keep coming back. Well, thanks for joining us for our first day of our week of West Coast shows. We'll see you again tomorrow night live from sunny California right here on display.